Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm making some cheese straws. These are with a puff pastry, and I have made my own puff pastry, but you can buy puff pastry in the supermarkets. It's best if you can buy the all butter puff pastry. It will give a nicer flavour. But if you want to buy that which is made with hydrogenated oils, you can do that. It's up to you. So I've made my own puff pastry and I've rolled it out into a sheet similar to what you would buy in the supermarket. So this is that sheet there, and this is what the puff pastry looks like before I've rolled it out, basically. And here I have just about 500 grams, which is slightly over 1 pound of puff pastry, and I've rolled that out to a a length of about almost 16 inches by about 13 inches. I'm going to fold it in half and then cut strips. You can do them whatever length you want, basically. And for the ingredients to go into the puff pastry, I'm using 25 grams, which is slightly under an ounce, of grated parmesan cheese, and I've grated that with my micro grater to get the shards as small as I can. And into that I'm going to put about 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper and 1/2 teaspoon of mustard powder and 1 teaspoon of onion powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to mix those around. That's just to give a bit of added flavour. You can add whatever spices you want, or you can leave out the spices, and you can use whatever cheese you want, but it's best to use a hard aged cheese because a lot of the moisture has been evaporated from those cheeses, so it allows the cheese straws to crisp up nicely. So with that mixed in, the only other ingredient I have is 1 medium egg, which I've added some water into, and I've beaten that, and that's simply for brushing onto this dough. So I'm going to brush all over the surface with the egg, and the water just loosens it nicely so that you don't get big clumps of egg. And the purpose of this is simply to help our cheese filling to adhere to the pastry. And if the puff pastry that you can buy doesn't weigh the same as this, that's fine. You can still use it. You just make fewer straws, or you can roll it out a little bit more, but whatever size gives a reasonable thickness. So having brushed all over that, I'm simply going to take my mixture and I'm going to sprinkle it over about half of the pastry, and that's good enough like that. So then I'm going to take the pastry and I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to press it down like that, and I'm just going to use my rolling pin just to press it in a little bit better, like that. And then I'm simply going to cut strips which are about 1/2 inch in thickness, but again, I'm not going to measure. You can do these the size you want, basically. And with them sliced like that, I'm simply going to take them and I'm going to turn them, twist them like that until I get a nice twist, and put it on my baking sheet, and I'm going to press down the ends. And you can twist them as much or as little as you want. So I have 2 trays and I still have a couple more left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those into the fridge to chill. And then as they're chilling, I'm going to preheat my oven to 200 Celsius, that's 180 Celsius with a fan, 400 Fahrenheit. And when the oven has come up to temperature, I'm going to put these into the oven and I'm going to bake them for about 20 minutes. They should puff up nicely and become nice and crisp. And when they've baked for 20 or 25 minutes, depending on how crisp I want them, I would take them out and immediately transfer them to a wire rack to cool down. Then I'll come back and show you the results. I baked my cheese straws for 25 minutes and they baked and they're nice and crispy. I took them out of the oven, put them onto the wire rack, and they're just about cooled down now. So this is what they look like, and I'll have a taste of one. Puff pastry is light and crispy and it's cooked all the way through. I've got that lovely cheesy flavour from the parmesan and just a little hint of other flavours as well from the cayenne and the onion powder and the mustard. Maybe I could even put a little bit more of cheese in and a bit more of the spices in. I now feel just a little bit on my throat, so perhaps it's good enough. So these are very, very good and they're very easy to make if you buy puff pastry. Making your own takes time. I wouldn't recommend it just for making these, but if you intend to use puff pastry for something else, then you could make a little bit extra to do these. So I hope you've enjoyed the recipe, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.